Um, we have been working with Amrita TBI for the last 1 year almost with another company which is incubated there. And while they work with hardware related aspects, we offer trainings, workshops on emerging technologies. And again, we also help inventors with applying for their patents. That's what we do. In that particular area, we also conduct a lot of information sessions, which will be helpful for people to understand why a certain area or topic is important for them. So that is why we are here today to talk about artificial intelligence. I'm a robotics engineer myself. I studied in Sweden about 12 years ago, and then I was working in R&D and product development for some time. Then I got introduced into the area of intellectual property, and then came into trainings and stuff like that. So today we are here to see about. I mean, AI. I'm sure it is a word which we have all heard so much in the last few years, right? So everybody seems to be working on AI. Every product seems to be powered by AI and AI driven and etc. etc. Right? So sometimes you hear about something so much, you think that I know that very well, but then you realize that I've only been hearing this word or this name. I don't actually know what it is, and I also would like to know what I can do in that particular field or that particular area. And AI is one particular field where the industry is actually working faster than what academia is doing. So there are a lot of different implementations of AI that is going on. So in that regard, we have actually planned three three workshops, small workshops series with Amrita TBI, which they will be announcing soon by next month, I think. So then we thought it would be nice to have a information session about that. So that is why we are here today. I'm not going into too much of technicalities about what is AI and stuff like that, but more about the scope of it, and where we are going to use it and why it is important for irrespective of if you are a professor or if you're a student or if you're an entrepreneur or if you are a business guy, where AI will be important for you. What is it that you may have to know? Okay, that's what we are here to talk about. Maybe for the first half an hour or so, I will kind of go through the slides that I have. If anybody has any questions, you can leave it in the chat, and we will take it up like just after that. And then we have a small interactive session as well, and I would encourage all of you to participate on that. And then we can have an open floor, right, where if anybody has any queries or questions, we'll be happy to clarify that. Okay, so let me get started here. I hope my screen is visible to all. Somebody can confirm with a yes, it will be great. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. So fundamentals of data science and artificial intelligence. Okay. AI, again, it's a phrase, it's a word we have heard so much. But can somebody tell me what just intelligence means according to you? Anybody wants to give an answer to that? You could even unmute and speak if you want. Intelligence, what does it mean? Who would you call a sorry?
Ability to apply knowledge.
Ability to apply knowledge. Great. That's a very nice definition. So, which would mean that you should first have some knowledge, correct? And then you should know what I can do with this knowledge and then apply it in the right way, right? Exactly. It is actually the very right answer. It's all about application of whatever I know, right? That is what intelligence is. So when you say artificial intelligence, which means we have to create an artificial system which has got some knowledge and then which also knows how to use that knowledge and apply that knowledge. That is artificial intelligence. So yeah, I mean, AI is kind of new. It's been the hot topic for the last maybe 20 years or something like that. But can somebody tell me how early was something with AI actually created? Like they were able to say that, yeah, this is actually something which is an artificial intelligence which will operate on its own. Can anybody give me a year, when it was first, when maybe a first application of artificial intelligence was created and it was used? Any guesses? Pick an year.
This is Shyam Sundar.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I could recollect that AI was applied during the Turing missions.
Okay, so approximately 1950s, 1960s.
Yes,
Okay.
during maybe
Okay.
even before that, maybe 1940s,
1920, 1940. Okay.
1930 or 1940.
1930s. Okay. Any other
Yeah.
answers? Any other year in which artificial intelligence was implemented? Any guesses?
Sir, I think it
1951.
was in 1950s, sir.
1950s. Okay. So we have 1930s, we have 1950s. If I were to tell you it goes back to 1770, can somebody believe me? It was always a thought. In the year 1770, in Germany, they created this machine which could play chess on its own. It was a board, it was an automaton basically. And there was this machine, there were all these like mechanical gears and structures which you see. So there was also this doll of a guy standing. This is a Turkish guy standing. So anybody could play against this particular uh, AI, and sometimes the AI won, sometimes the humans won. Even some great people like Benjamin Franklin, Napoleon Bonaparte, they have all played against like this particular machine. And this machine was taken around the world and it was displayed and it was active until 1840, 1850 or something like that. Can anybody guess how it worked? Like what AI could they have used at that time? Mechanical stuff, of course, but any guesses? Chess is a complicated game, right? Many rules, so many stuff to keep in mind. Any guesses? Let me give the answer. There was a human hiding underneath, inside the box. And whenever somebody played a piece on the top, it was just connected like mechanically. Remember, there was no electricity, no, no processors or chips at that time. So it was just pure mechanical system. So anything which was played on the top of the board correspondingly moved the pieces underneath the board. And they had a human inside the box. Various humans during the 80-year period that it was active, 1770 to 1850 or something like that. So it's hilarious, right? And depending on how good the human was, sometimes the humans won, sometimes this AI won. Sorry to call it AI, but whatever. So what does this teach us? There is a big lesson here. There is always a human behind every AI. Okay, so we are seeing different answers here. Okay, now I'm sure there would have been a reason why you guys would have given this particular answer, right? So can you tell me what is the parameter which helped you to define who is the best batsman according to you? Batting average, we have one answer already. Okay. You can go to the same. Okay, people are seeing it. Great. Run score, batting average. Let us see. Runs scored is taking a larger vote. That's interesting. Now batting average is catching up. Neck to neck. This is interesting. Okay, average. batting average is the, we think it's the optimum, yardstick with which we would like to like measure the particular player's thing, right? Because basically, what is batting average? On an average, how many runs will they score in every innings which they play, right? So that is the yardstick which comes to our mind. I'm sure like a lot of answers were there, like Maxwell or Dhoni or Virat Kohli, because you know that if he comes to bat 50 runs, though he will score. You kind of have that assurance going on in your head, right? That is why I'm sure we choose batting average as the yardstick, which is actually correct. Out of the options here, runs scored, number of centuries, and batting average is the right thing. Now, let us go to something interesting. This is the batting average of the top 10 averages of all time in test matches. Now tell me, what happened to Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid? Do you see any of those names there? We don't see it there, right? So why is that? What happened to Ricky Ponting, Brian Lara, Kumara Sangakkara, Alastair Cook, all the greatest batsmen? Sorry, I thought I heard I'm on mute. Anyway, so this is with respect to test matches. ODIs. Look at who is set like number 1, number 2. Do you know that person even? Ryan ten Dotsate. He plays for Netherlands. He plays for like Netherlands, right? Where is your Sachin Tendulkar and Brian Lara? And MS Dhoni is of course there. Virat Kohli is there. But who are all these other guys who have a very high average, but not many people have heard about them at all? And if you go to T20s again, do you know where is this guy ranked number 3? Ramesh Satheeshan. He plays for the Romanian cricket team. Okay, so this is the batting averages, which we all agreed was the right yardstick to choose the best batsman. So I'm sure that let us go to ODIs, maybe for example. Everybody would, I saw like a lot of people have answered MS Dhoni in the answers, right? We have a lot of MS Dhonis here. Yeah, there's a lot of MS Dhoni. If I were to ask a human person, we have to chase, and who do you want to bat? I'm sure people will choose MS Dhoni. But if I asked an artificial intelligence system based on this, it would actually choose Trot on top of Dhoni. If I say that average is the key, you see the problem here. We are talking about, can we use artificial intelligence for to answer the questions which we are trying to answer here? Who is the best batsman in the world? Kind of questions. So it would actually pick a Jonathan Trott ahead of MS Dhoni. Why would it do that? Any guesses? Anybody?
On the basis of average, sir?
Yeah, of course. It is. All these things are on the basis of like average only, right? So given this data, an AI will obviously choose this particular system, right? It is it will do its job basically, right? So what we have to do, if you want to work on AI, right, our job is not only to collect all this data and give it in form of a table to the AI. See the asterisk here. What is the criteria they have chosen? The table shows players with at least 20 innings completed. Okay, which means that is the yardstick which they have taken. 20 innings must be completed. Now, who chooses this particular, rules?
Root.
Sorry?
Do you mean root?
Yeah, whoever says, okay, at least he should have played minimum 20 innings. Now, if I were to say this number instead of 20, if I say the person must have played 100 innings at least, who will be number one? Virat Kohli will be number one. Second would be like Michael Bevan. Third would be AB de Villiers. Dhoni will be fourth. Joe Root will be fifth. I don't have a problem with that particular list, right? Because you guys know Kohli, of course, number one. You know this guy like Michael Bevan, 90s and early 2000s, he has chased so many, scores for Australia. One of the greatest ODI batsmen ever. So I don't have a problem with that list. So basically what it means is that two things we learn from this. Number one, we have to choose the asterisk. This will be your job as an artificial intelligence person or someone working on data science, meaning what is the rule I'm going to give, okay, to answer the questions which I can answer with this particular data. That becomes the most important thing. Number two, we said about batting averages, right? Okay, but there are so many other factors also which are intangible factors. For example, size of the bat. Size of the bat has improved dramatically now, right? And I don't know if you guys watched the recent matches. Do you see how large is the ground? Like how large is the rope? How many meters do you have to hit if you have to hit a sixer? 70 meters, 65 meters, very small grounds, right? But in earlier times, the grounds used to be huge. The grounds used to be really, really huge, big ropes and huge grounds. So can you compare somebody hitting a sixer right now to somebody hitting a sixer maybe 25 years ago? You can't compare, right? And now there are so many rules also that are being changed. Like you have 2 new balls in ODIs, this and that, and also over the last few years, the game has moved more. It's very favorable towards the batsmen compared to towards the bowlers, right? Remember 20 years ago, if you have
Sir, you are on mute.
okay, right? So what I'm trying to say is there are a lot of intangibles that also go into these particular things. So second thing is we cannot assume that I will create an AI and I will ask whatever question, it will give me the answer. That's not how it works. And questions like these, what I asked, who is the best batsman? There are many ways to interpret such answers, right? So if you really need a system that must be really that good, which can answer all these type of abstract type of questions, then it would be really you kind of have to consider too many factors onto that. But when we start with we have to start slowly with whatever aspects that we can control, like average, that's easy to compute, or you can do something else easy to create, etc. So this is one important thing we have to keep in mind when we start working on artificial intelligence system. So just wanted to give you a small example. Even with all our intelligence, it's not easy to answer some questions, right? So when you create an AI, what we have to remember is today we have to have a sound and a solid foundation on data science. What is data, how it works, what are the different ways we can use the data, etc., etc. And after that, we have to proceed to how to automate that particular thing, right? Another most important thing is, remember, intelligence is always very generational, meaning if there is a 3-year-old small boy or a girl, and if you ask it what is that time, if it is able to look at the watch and say 8 o'clock, you say, wow, intelligent kid. If I do the same thing, you wouldn't say, oh, Arun is intelligent because he can look at the clock and say the time. Because for me, you would say, oh, this guy is more than 30 years old. The way you would see whether I am intelligent or not is not the same as how you would see for a small kid, right? Similarly, computers have also evolved a lot, right? 20 years ago, if I could just automate a small operation in my Excel or something, I would be like, wow, this is nice, AI, right? But now Excel automation is not considered artificial intelligence. Like one man said at first, you should be able to apply the knowledge that you have. That is how much we assume that AI has to be, right? Simple automation, we are like, this, this is not AI. Correct. So AI is also something that is generational. It evolves as all the technology and associated stuff also evolves with it. So that's also something we have to keep in mind. And AI, of course, has applications in various different fields, depending on which, again, how deep you have to go, etc. It will all be like different. So this is just a introductory session on data science and AI. Amrita TBI is partnering with us. We are partnering with them, and we have created 2-3 small workshops series. I think they will reach out to you on when we are going to have that. There we have an industry expert who will be coming and taking you through the various aspects of what is data, how to use the data, how to represent the data, understand the data, and then finally, how can you use the data to feed into a small AI system so that you can create something. Okay, that is something we'll be having over the next few weeks time, I think. Any questions on this or anything? We are open now. You can ask.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sir, how tough is AI for a very beginner person? Like, how tough it can be? Because it's our I'm a student from MCA, and it's our third semester. We have to.
Somebody's muted you. Abhinav.
Yeah, no issues.
Yeah.
Pankaj, please don't mute everyone. Yeah, thank you. So we have some time to choose the subject, and many people in our group is saying that AI is very difficult. Don't choose that. Don't choose that. So just want to know that what is the difficulty level of AI for a beginner?
Okay. See, AI is only a tool. End of the day. Okay. You can choose how deep to go into AI or not. It is totally up to you. Now, for example, there is one course called AI for Managers, which was created by IIT Chennai. So there they only talk about the application areas of AI and where it can be used. There they don't say you need to code, you need to do etc. So Abhinav, ultimately it is up to you. There are two things that you have to choose. Number one, am I going to become an AI person, okay, who is going to create AI and who is going to make new algorithms and new machine learning techniques and new artificial intelligence systems themselves, so that I can create like a Siri or Alexa or whatever? Then it's a very long road. Okay, you will have to put in quite a lot of years of training, and as I said, you need to start from data science, fundamentals of mathematics and coding, etc. It will take you quite some time to get into that, and it's not about how tough or how easy it is. If you spend enough time on anything, it gets easy over the time, right? And luckily today there are a lot more resources and material available, so that path you can still go. There is also an option number 2. If you say, look, I don't want to get core into AI, but it is a fact that no matter which industry or which field you are in, you need to know something about AI. You should know at least how to use the AI tools that are available at my disposal, right? In that particular case, you will still remain a core into whatever that you are in. When you say MCA, right, it would be computer applications and all those things. So you can still familiarize yourself with what are the AI tools that are available with me today, so that I can automate some part of like my work and I don't have to do the whole thing, right? Or you can involve you can involve yourself in a larger AI project where your specific area of expertise would be used. So it's not about how easy or how hard. Anything which is worth doing is obviously not easy, but if you can spend some time on it and understand the basics as to why am I doing this, what is my end goal of learning AI, if you have that clarity, you can surely work on it. It's not a problem.
Okay, so thank you so much for the clarification, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because this is often the question, I think, right? Because we keep hearing so much about AI. So somewhere you feel, I have to be involved in this. But then you also feel like, but how do I do it? Where do I start and all those things, right? So yeah, there are so it's like there are like various like levels of it. As to like where you want to plug yourself in, it's totally up to you. Any other questions?
Sir, good evening. Karthik here.
Hi. Yeah, Karthik.
As you said, we have plenty of resources online. To be precise, we are overwhelmed with resources. So because when I started to search for data science today, I had come across nearly 150 hours of training for the beginner itself.
Yeah.
So there are lots of resources out there, unlike the previous times. So for absolute beginners, maybe there are plenty among this group itself. So can you just guide us how to select or how to choose the ones we actually need?
Sure. That is what we will be doing in this workshop series which we are talking about. No, that's exactly the point actually, Karthik. So I also have an e-learning platform which I created in the last 2 years time, not COVID. Earlier to that I started, because I do these like workshops. You are absolutely correct. Today the problem is not availability of the resources. You go to YouTube, you go to like NPTEL website, you have so many like lectures. I saw one ML, like machine learning lecture, which was like 11.5 hours long video. Some IT professor is teaching and talking. So today the problem is not availability of the resources, but as you said quite rightly, hey, I don't know anything about it. I'm an absolute beginner. So how do I know where to start and where to stop, right? That's exactly the problem we are trying to address here through these workshops. We are bringing in industry people who will tell you, okay, you guys are beginners. This is where you need to start with, which is why I said start with data science. You need to understand what is data, because as you saw, 95% of AI applications are data driven. So understand data science, what all you can do with respect to data science, play around with that a bit, and then figure out where you can start implementing that in artificial intelligence. So these workshop series which we are planning, that is how it will be. We will give you the basics and also tell you where to start with. They are smaller sessions, I think only 6 to 8 hours of online like lectures, but following that we will also be giving you access to certain like material assessments and content which you can do, so that you have a basic idea about okay, this is where I stand, this is what it is all about. That is the key thing, right? So that is exactly the problem we are trying to solve here, Karthik. And so I'm sure Arun from Amrita TBI would be reaching out to you guys. Do enroll to that online like workshop. It will be conducted by me, and I have a friend who is also a trainer. So we are planning to conduct this. We have been conducting such workshops in places like ISRO, NIFT, NIFT. These are places where they say we don't know AI, but we know we have to use it in the future. So where do we start? How do we go about? So we will help you with that, Karthik. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one more thing.
Yeah.
It's just a bit about industry, not specifically on any specific topic. So as you know, the industry is expecting people with skills or experience, one or the other, not both, but still. So beginners or person who are switching from one role to another, for example, from sales to operations or operations to AI or data analyst, something like that. Do you think, as a person who is still inside the industry, I'm just asking, do you think there are companies, whether it is startups itself, offering something that at least some people give it chance for the new onboarding person who expect for a role change in their career?
Yes, in fact, as someone who has been looking for a job in my early days of my career to right now I'm looking to hire people, it's harder to hire people than to look for a job actually. So, today everybody's problem is all of like my clients, they're all startups, SMEs, they are all like, Arun, can you refer someone to this job? Arey yaar, aadmi nahi mil raha hai. Nobody is there. We're not able to find people. That is the biggest problem today. So, see, you should just be able to explain why you are doing the role change, and you should show that you have the aptitude for learning. That is all that matters end of the day. In fact, a lot of startups that I know, they are like, we look for freshers who can learn. We don't want people who think they know like everything and they say, I've done this, I've done that. No, we prefer people who are willing to learn and who can grow along with us. So that is the key attitude or the skill which is expected out of freshers or early stage people who are looking to change their career, right? What is the degree that you have is one thing, and how well have you performed and all those things is also like important. But if you want to work on something specific, try working on a project like around that, maybe in your like academia or something, so that you can show that, look, I have interest in this and I have done some work on this based on what I know I have done, like this work. So that attitude is what is the most important when people look to hire someone. So yeah, you can of course move sideways from operations to something else, or A to B or something like that. And it's easier to do it in earlier part of your career. I'm not telling it's impossible to do it later. You can do it, but it's much easier to do it when you are in your earlier part of the career. So it can be done. It can be done. That is where, in fact, we are now also working with IIM Bangalore, where we are trying to understand what are the challenges that small companies are facing with respect to hiring, etc. The core problem they are telling is upskilling and reskilling. Somebody wants to move, but what should I learn? Where should I go, etc., etc. So we are trying to address that, which is why all these workshops and things we are planning and doing. So it is possible, Karthik.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Sir, my name is Brajesh.
Hi.
I am from Tripoli background. So what I wanted to convey is what I wanted to say is I don't have any coding background.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to know that is data science, how much coding they use, whether it is completely of coding oriented or it is something more than that.
Okay.
I just wanted to know that.
Sure. I'll tell you something. I am also from a AAA background. And
super.
And I don't like to code, but I have a like master's degree in robotics. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is you have to code a bit. There is no escaping coding if you come into data science or AI and all those different fields, because see, I can understand your this thing, because I was also like coding, oh my god. But then see, what is coding end of the day is you are basically giving a structure to a flow of how something has to work, right? That is all coding is. So there are two things. One, you cannot code. You don't have the aptitude for that. Number two, you don't like to code or you don't want to code, right? Which is that, I'm not sure. But whichever it is, if you are going to enter into data science or AI, you will have to learn some amount of coding and some very basic level coding you have to do. But I will tell you what I did, because I don't like to code. Okay. But I had to do it when I did my like masters and all those things. But then what I realized was, dude, you are into robotics and product development, you don't like to code. So then I have to be very, very strong in something else, right? So that I can say I can't code, but I can do this, right? End of the day, when somebody is trying to hire you, what will they tell you? What can you do for my company, right? What is the skill that you are adding? So I went a level deeper. I started to learn about architectures, embedded control systems, automata. I went one step deeper and I started working on architectures architecture, when I said it, it's more of technology, like like architectures and systems and all those things. It's more of this, like it's actually a level under where you code. So I create architectures on top of which another person would code. But to reach there, it took me 2 years of hard work and I had to code. So there is no escaping the coding, but it's fine, Brijesh. See, I studied, I also went to EEE, and if today I'm here talking about AI, right? I'm sure you can also do it, but there is no escaping the coding. Some amount of coding you'll have to do, but again, if you don't want to get into that all the time, you are not very fond of coding or you don't want to do it, there are other things also which you will be able to figure out once you start working on it. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No
Thank
worries.
So I'm Abhishek Sonia from Amrita University.
Yeah. Hi.
Yes, I have taken CSE AI and I love coding, so that I want to learn more and more languages related to AI. So which programming language should I prefer the most?
Okay. See, there are two things when you want to learn a particular language, right? Languages are like tools which you use. Okay. Going back to the same example, you can use a regular cricket bat. You can use this mongoose bat or whatever is the bat. That is how languages are like. There are various different languages that you can use. You can use R, you can use Python, etc., etc. But the most important thing is the skill that comes with that particular thing. So I suggest today the most widely used language or tool for AI is Python. Obviously, I'm sure you must be aware about it. So R and Python are the two most sought after and used tools in the world of AI today. So I suggest you start with that. Anyone you can pick, but then again, don't be too specific to one particular tool. Okay, tool is there to help you. That's all. You shouldn't be very dependent on that particular tool telling I can only work on this tool, I can't work on this other tool, etc. That wouldn't be right. And it's about creating the skill. Like you say, I like to code, I want to code. Great. So just learn how to code using this particular tool. Tomorrow, if the tool changes also, it's fine. It's like you learn to drive on a Hero Honda bike. Tomorrow you can ride a Yamaha bike or Avenger or whatever, right? But you need to have the basic thing of how to balance clutch gear thing, right? That's the skill. Similarly, learn the basics when it comes to coding. What are all some of the basic things that I should know, and start working on one or two tools. Explore, some new tools as they come up. And if you want to get to AI and stuff like that, it's Python. If you want to get into web development and all those things, there is Angular, JS, and there are quite a lot more tools there, I think, right? So depending on where you want to apply the skills that you have learned, you can choose the tools. But for AI, I would say start with Python. I'm sure you can find a lot of tutorials or open source material for learning also. It's open source. So you can start with Python, of course.
Can you just suggest some open source open source sites that from where I can learn Python?
We are putting it all together for that workshop. I think if you attend that workshop, see, I'm talking so much, but I don't code also. Every day I'm not sitting and coding. I'm creating architectures, right? So my colleague will be explaining about all that in the workshop that we'll be having soon. We will reach out to you on that for sure. Okay. Over there, we are creating a repository actually of, what are all the things you from where to start, what to read, what are the tools, what is available, etc. And you can do that. Yeah. So,
sir, are the registration already done, or it will be done after some days?
It will be done after this, I think. Arun, we will be sharing some information about that, right? After this workshop. Yeah. 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 Yeah, we will email you the information. We are trying to figure out when to plan because vacation times for you guys, availability of the trainer, etc. So we are in the process of that. But Arun will reach out to you, and we are having all these workshops specifically for all these purposes only, as you mentioned. Like, where do I start? What are some open source options that I can use? And we are also planning to give you some assignments where you can play around with it and see how to do it, etc. So we'll do that, Abhishek. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Nice. Any other questions, guys? Somebody's posted a link platform. Yeah, I will check that again. As I said, there are many platforms and so many tools, guys. It's not like this is right, that is wrong. It's about where you want to start with and where you want to go. And so yeah, it's about that. Any other questions? Okay, shall we close it then, Arun?
Sir, there's a question at the chat.
Oh, sorry. What's the difference between statistical data science and computational? Statistical data science is the basic for, like everything. I mean, you need to start with the basic like math about, about all the statistics, because as you can see, it's all about playing with all these like numbers end of the day. Computational is basically how you are implementing it. How do I create a computer program or an application that can do it for me, right? So statistical data science is like the basic of the whole thing. Computational data science would be about your data like visualization and like for example in Excel sheet, right? When I put in the like data, it will throw me the dashboard and I can create the graphs and like all those things. So how that happens and what I have to code or how I need to program that becomes the computational one. So you create a computational, you basically create a computational model to achieve something. And the core of that would be the statistics that you get from the data that you have. Any other questions? Welcome in the chat or audio. I was going to leave my email ID, but after what happened today, I don't want someone to send me prank emails. So it's okay. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Can you please suggest any website for learning coding? That's what, we are still putting together like a catalog of, resources that we can share. It is still in the process actually. But again, as I said, there are many tools, which is actually the problem today. Like somebody else also mentioned, you don't know where to go, where to start. So hold on some more time. Now after like this workshop, I also now have a clarity on like what is the expectation from you guys, right? Like you want to start from the basics, from the very, very basics of the coding, data science to AI to the whole thing. So accordingly, we will also ensure we have the resources when we start with the workshop series. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So can we contact you in the WhatsApp number or phone call by the phone call that I have contacted you just earlier?
You contacted me earlier on.
Sir, you send me Google Meet link.
I didn't send.
Oh.
My name is Arun. His name is also Arun. So there will be small confusion.
Oh.
Okay, fine. I've given my email ID here. It's v.arun@invent.com. You can reach out to me. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Anything else, guys? Somebody has posted a link on the chat. The link CCBP. It's a program. Next wave. Yeah. For AI, all program language is mandated to learn. No, of course not. Of course not. See, that's what I said. You just have to pick any one, any like one language, programming language, and you just need to build on that. And again, as I said, I coded for maybe 1 year after I joined in like my job, but after that I have not coded for 8 years now, because I don't have to, right? I work in a level which is under that. So not everybody will have the aptitude or the liking towards coding. Then you may have to choose, okay, let me work on something else which is associated with that. And also, it's not that everybody has to create artificial intelligence systems, etc., etc. When you start working on it, you will see for an AI to work, there are 100 small pieces which has to come together, right? So any small contribution that you can do towards any one of those things, you would be working on like a larger AI system basically. So I have a client of mine who's working on chatbots, like virtual, all these like avatars and all those things. So there are animators working on how to move the mouth of the chatbot depending on what is the word it is about to say. For example, if it is about to say something with an O, it has to keep the, it has to be like O. It must not be like A or something. It would look odd, right? So they are working on that. So this is a group of animators, okay, who know their animation tools and all those things. They had to learn a small bit about what they are like working on, and then they are going to do it. So when you join the workforce, you will see that it's not like, okay, I'm like now in college, I need to learn. Once I go to work, I don't have to learn anymore. No, every day is new. Every day we learn something new. So it's about adding on to that. But it doesn't mean you have to learn all the programming languages. That's not the case. I mentioned about Python because if somebody is looking to work in AI, that's like the basic skill that you might need, right? So that's the thing. So we just have to be good at a specific niche and combine it with AI. Correct. Very true. I had a friend of mine, he is 38, 39 years old guy. Suddenly he called me last week and he's like, hey, I want to become a data scientist. I'm like, data scientist? What are you doing now? He's an operations management expert. Okay, like how in these like industries, you must have heard of this like SAP and all those things, no? Supply chain, procurement, etc. Like suddenly I want to become a data scientist. I'm like, to become a data scientist, you have to learn for maybe 2 years when you're doing maybe say you are this like masters or early part of your career, and you need to work for 2 years on that to get that type of thing. Why do you want to do it now? Then it's like, no, it seems like data and AI is the future. I'm like, I agree, but doesn't mean you have to get into the core of that, right? So I told him, dude, there are many ways in which AI can be used in what you are doing, operations management. So start identifying problems in your work for which you can use AI as a solution. Just work on implementing them, because this guy has more than 15 years of experience, work experience on that, right? So that's what I told him, like what you are asking here. No, he has a like niche, operations management. I know in and out of it. Good. So within operations management, find where AI can be used, and then reach out to the people who can implement it for you. And when you start working with them, you would learn a lot of it, right? So you are right. So you first need to identify what is your niche, what are you good at, and then how can I implement that with the help of AI, or how can I use AI for doing what I can do and improve upon it. Yeah. Yeah, you will be getting an email about the like workshop, the dates, and when all those details, you will be getting an email. Check the spam also, just in case. Okay.
So it is better to start coding with Windows or Linux, and if Linux, then what type of which Linux should we choose?
To be honest, I don't know. I think my colleague will be able to answer it when we start with the workshop. See, again, as I said, whether it's Linux or whether it's like Windows or this like Mac, They are all just platforms, right? In everything, you have options for doing what you want to do, right? So depending on the requirement, you will have to like learn that. And again, I'm telling you, like one particular tool or OS is good to start with, but end of the day, you know, if you have the right skill, you can work with like whichever platform or whichever OS. It mustn't be a problem with that. It's like having an app on Android and having an app on like iOS, right? End of the day, it has to work in the same way. So if you know the core of the app, how it has to work, you just have to tweak it a bit to suit iOS or Android, depending on the requirement, right? So it is like that only. But it's not just like it's not like it should be only with all this like Linux and all. Even within this like Windows machine, you can still like, you know, run it. Today cloud computing is here, so there are various ways in which it can work. To deal with electronic and industrial gadgets too. Gadgets like tools and equipment, in a way I do. So what I do is basically, okay, I'll give you a small brief about what I do basically. I am a robotics engineer who worked on product development and automobile product development, healthcare, robotics and all those things for some time. And then I joined a patent consulting company. So what is a patent? A patent is basically if somebody is inventing a new technology, how do you basically protect it? You know, how do you see if anybody else is doing the same, then I have to stop that person, or am I doing something which will be overlapping with someone else, what they are doing, etc. So it is analyzing their, you know, it is basically an analysis of the particular technology of your competition, who else is doing, etc., etc. So it is another level under the whole you know, architecture, technology development, etc. So I started working in that particular field 8 years ago, and then we also started to do a lot of like trainings and all these trainings, workshops, etc. because I have some experience on that, and I also have some startup guys I work with. They train a lot, so which is how we started doing the trainings also. So these are the things that I do. So in my work, in my like line of the work, I work with many companies who create new, you know, equipments or new technology or gadgets or all those things, and we help them to apply for the patent for the work that they do, and then help them to, you know, raise like investment money and all those things. That's the business aspect of it. Manifest an idea provided. Yeah, so if you have an idea and say, hey, this is what I plan to do. So how do you take that idea and implement it to create it into a product? So we have a team of people who can help you with that. You know, like if it's an actual product, then we can help you with the design. If it's like an application or something, we can help you with what should be the process, the like method. Yeah, exactly. What's the process and what is the procedure for creating a product? So product development assistance, we do that. So you must be wondering, right, why this guy is talking about AI and all those things, because AI is involved in all of that. Yeah, throughout, it is from design till the end product. Yeah, that's what we do. So I mean, we use a lot of AI tools for that, and there are many fundamentals of AI also which we use over there. So hope that answered your question. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for joining again here, guys, after what happened there. But yeah, thanks. If anybody got an idea, not a model, will they get a patent for that idea? Okay, patents. See, ideas cannot be patented, but implementations can be patented. Meaning, say you want to construct a house, okay? You want to get an approval from the corporation or like whatever. If you go and say, I want to construct a 2-bedroom, 2-play house with a car park and a swimming pool, they will not give approval. But if you make a drawing of that and say, see, this is the house I'm going to construct, then they will give you the approval, correct? So the idea must be workable on paper. You don't have to have an actual prototype in order to apply for the patent, but you should explain on paper how that works. Okay, that's the most important thing. So how to do that? That is where we come into the picture, and it is where like we help anybody who's creating something new to help them to apply for the patents. So yeah. Shall we close this, guys? I have given my email ID, and there are more questions. See, I'm fine to stay, no problem. AI, how it helps AI, how AI helps in business. I mean, so many different ways, right? From customer survey to, like, I'm a small business, right? I run a small business. Let us say, if I can create a chatbot, okay, which will answer all the questions which I have to answer like normally, that will be great for me, right? It will save me a lot of time. So WhatsApp has that option, right, where I can say, if this is a question that's being asked, answer with all these things. So that is one application of AI, right? So there are different levels in which AI is being like applied. There is no end to it. It is our imagination actually, which comes into the picture. Hello.
Sir, can we say this AI that if I have a clothes shop and I have published it, I have published the items online, then it will show some of the fascinating, means the website or the system will show fascinating items to the customer to lure them. So that might be a AI.
It could be an AI, yeah, which is already happening. No, if I go and search for something somewhere, I'm getting an email about that particular thing because it is, reading through my cookies, going through my history, my search history, and all those things. So it's already happening, right? AI is already working that way. So YouTube music suggestions, they are the best. You search for something and then you play that. See on the side, all the songs will be related to what song that you are now like listening, song or a video, whatever. So all that is AI. So it is basically trying to identify, okay, this is what this guy is interested in. Let me give him more stuff like this so that you will be like more engaged with that particular thing. Can we patent a software or a platform? There are ways in which it can be done. Yeah. I think patent discussion is a whole other thing. We are planning to have another workshop for that, right, Arun? We are planning one workshop for patents separately, and I'm thinking of coming to your campus and actually doing that. So we can maybe take those questions there for sure, yeah. But you can reach out to me. I've given my email ID in the chat. If anybody has any question, please drop me an email. But patent questions we will take because it's a whole other field. So yeah, so AI has various applications for business, quite a lot. How do you differentiate AI and algorithms? An algorithm is just one way of doing something. And AI is a combination of many algorithms put together, and it has to work on a particular way, right? That is AI. Can you give me an example of an AI which we use in your life every day? Prashant, right? You have asked the question, how do you differentiate AI and algorithms? Give me an example of some AI that you use in your everyday life, or according to you, what would be an AI? Google Assistant. Somebody saying Google Assistant. Yeah, that's an AI, right? Google Assistant is an AI. But do you know how many algorithms have to run behind to make that AI to work? So a Google algorithm to do search means if I'm going to do something here, it should work that way. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. That's one particular thing. But an AI will include, okay, when you say Google Assistant is an AI, what do you want it to do? when I speak something, say for example, it should identify what I'm saying, and it has to get me like whatever information or whatever is needed. So first, there is a audio algorithm which has to convert my speech into text, understand that. That will have like multiple algorithms. Then another algorithm has to figure out the keywords in what I have said and say these are the keywords. And then another algorithm will search for that particular thing. And another algorithm will rank the results. So it takes multiple algorithms combined to work together to form one AI system. Okay, so hope that helps. Amrita, ahead learners. Okay, sure. Arun, maybe you might want to make note of it. Somebody named Reshma is asking that. Amrita, ahead learners are also interested in the workshop, so please make sure to email them also. Yeah. Think a huge team is needed for. Sorry, somebody's. Algorithms. Yeah, I mean, not a huge team per se. Yeah, I mean, can be a small team also, but if you have the right skills, you can do it. But yeah, algorithm is like a starting point. Consider an algorithm is like an alphabet with which you form a word and then you form a full sentence. That is an AI. Okay. A lot of interesting questions, guys. It's very nice to see that. Any more questions? What you really do? I run a business. From a creator standpoint, I'm sorry, your questions are, can you put it in one sentence if possible, please? I mean, it's easier for me to get the context about what you're trying to say. Or if you can unmute and maybe ask me the question, it would be easier maybe. Purchases and sales. Purchases, sales.
I mean, sir, I am also into this patent industry. I am moving forward in this, but I would like to have some mentor. Like I have this knowledge how to create, and also, I mean, regarding these designs and all that, and I don't know how to proceed with this.
Can we take this discussion on another platform maybe? Because see, we are talking about AI and about the course. You can drop me an email about what I do. Okay, you can email me. I have given you the email ID there. Drop me an email about what you do and like like what assistance would you need. I'll be happy to help for sure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll stick with AI here today because patents is a very big field and too many things. Okay, if we are done with questions, can we close now? Maybe Arun, what do you think? Okay, guys, again, I've given you my email ID in the chat. If anybody has any specific questions, you can email me. But again, we will be conducting the workshop soon. Arun will email you those information. Enroll for that. And yeah, it will be nice to have you guys there. Okay. And we'll be answering almost all the questions that you guys asked here in depth. And we will also be giving you access to certain tools and certain content and stuff like that over there. So hope to see you all there, and thanks again for a very interactive session today.